If you are a pop culture fan of the 80s, if you're an 80s baby, this has been a tough week. First, it was Michael Jamal Warner from The Cosby Show. His death hit me the hardest just because we're roughly around the same age, and I feel like I grew up with the guy. And The Cosby Show is one of the greatest sitcoms ever. And more than just The Cosby Show, he was just a solid dude, just a good, solid man you hate to see. And he had a young daughter. That hurt the most. Second, Ozzy Osbourne died. Ozzy Osbourne died. And it's like, Ozzy was like Keith Richards. You always felt like Ozzy was just indestructible. Even though you can tell that he was falling apart, it's just, the idea of Ozzy Osbourne dying just didn't seem like it was real. And now today, Hulk Hogan died. And it's like, wow, Hulk still died? Hulk Hogan is a very complicated figure. But I will say, he's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers of all time. Technically, maybe not the best wrestler of all time, if you're having that type of Mount Rushmore. But as far as importance to entertainment and wrestling entertainment, he's on the Mount Rushmore. He came through the mid-'80s, during the MTV era, the first WrestleManias, yeah, Cyndi Lauper, and with the crossover of Captain Lou Albano and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But the Hulkster, he was able to catch kids and casual fans. The marketing of Hulk Hogan with the doll, the yellow outfit, talking like this, brother, the ripping of the jersey, the whole Real American, later the whole Real American theme song, which is kind of corny, but it fit him. I don't know where wrestling would be without Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair, technically, is better than Hulk. But as far as like moving the sport to the next level, Hulk is in the same league of like Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan as far as like taking the industry and pushing it even higher. And then when people got tired of Hulk and WWE let him go, he goes over to Ted Turner's WCW, and Hollywood Hogan was born, wearing all black, the NWO, NWO. And it's probably one of the greatest heel turns ever. If you're a wrestling aficionado, is Hulk Hogan going from the real American Hulk Hogan into Hollywood Hulk Hogan? Is that the greatest heel turn ever? Because you would never see that coming. And just like Hulk Hogan in WWE raised the bar of wrestling as far as its popularity, he did the same thing with WCW, with the NWO. And one of my favorite memes ever is Hulk Hogan trying to spray NWO on the side of a truck, which kind of leans towards the racist Hulk Hogan. So whenever time something racist pops up about Hulk Hogan, because he had some racist rants in the past, people always put up that meaning starting to put N. The greatest thing ever, because he's spray painting NWO, but then he's spraying another N word. I love that so much. So yeah, so two wrestling organizations, you just can't have wrestling without Hulk Hogan. But like I said, he's a complicated dude, man, because he had racist rants in the past. He had that issue with Bubba the Love Sponge and Bubba's wife, which is kind of weird. But most importantly, even with those things, which was crazy, wrestling had a point in the mid-'80s where they could be unionized. And the wrestlers who was fighting for a union knew if Hulk Hogan was on their side and they can get Hulk to say, yeah, we need a union, wrestlers at this point would have had a union. But Hulk was the ultimate company man, and Hulk was only out for himself. So he killed it. He killed the idea of a union back in the mid-'80s. And the wrestlers still don't have a union. Like everybody has a union, I think. Like in the NBA, WNBA, NFL, baseball, everybody has unions. Police, fire, teachers. But wrestling doesn't. And they should have one by now. And even though it's better for wrestlers now than maybe even 30 years ago, they still should have a union. But they definitely would have had one if Hulk Hogan would have said, you know what, we need a union. But he he sold those dudes out for himself, for his own brand. So, complicated figure. Not a good friend, i.e. Bubba the Love Sponge. Not a good co-worker, i.e. the union. Seems like he had racist tendencies. However, from an impact as a wrestler, especially as a brand, he's pretty much unmatched. He's basically Air Jordan. He's basically the king of pop. He's basically that dude. Not technically sound, not the best wrestler of all time, but as far as the most important wrestler of all time, is Hulk Hogan. So tell me your thoughts about Hulk Hogan. Tell me your thoughts about these 80s icons with Michael Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan passing away. How you feel about that? It's complicated, man, because you know you're getting older, but at the same time, these are still shocking deaths. So rest in peace, Hulk, you complicated person. In memoriam, I'm going to find that NWO picture of him spraying the letter N on that truck. In fact, I think I might make it my header for my X account. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that on my X account. Rest in peace, Hulk.